The UK plans to send migrants and asylum seekers to Rwanda in a controversial new agreement with the East African nation. Under the agreement, people who arrived in the UK illegally will be sent to Rwanda. The country would be responsible for putting them through an asylum process, and if they are successful, they would have long-term accommodation. Critics have called the plan cruel, accusing Downing Street of offshoring its responsibilities onto Europe's former colonies instead of helping the vulnerable. But London has defended the agreement.
Together, the United Kingdom and Rwanda will help make the immigration system fairer, ensure that people are safe and enjoy new opportunities to flourish. We have agreed that people who enter the UK illegally will be considered for relocation to Rwanda to have their asylum claims decided. And those who are resettled will be given the support, including up to 5 years of training with the help of integration, accommodation, healthcare, so that they can resettle and thrive. This agreement fully complies with all international and national law.
We just decided to give our contribution to a solution to illegal migration. And we are going to provide these people with a minimum for them to be able to live a dignified life. We are going to invest in skill development. We are going to invest in socio-economic integration of these people.
Let's get more on the legality of this agreement with Professor Francesco Rizzuto, who is the Dean and Head of the School of Law at the Liverpool Hope University. He joins us now from Liverpool. Professor, very good evening. Walk us through the implications of this agreement with a particular emphasis on international migration laws.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, a very interesting question. I think that, well, the implications are that if everybody followed suit, we would basically, the developed world would be dumping its, how can I put it, migration problem onto the developing world, who clearly need the support and the finance. That's a very glib answer, but I don't think that's going to happen. Frankly, we've had one or two examples of European countries, the European Union in particular, or Australia to mention another one, or Israel, another example where they've tried to, how can I put it, control migration flows or process migration flows by offshoring them. I'm not so sure that that's worked particularly well. So, if you like, if the British model, which is a copy of the Australian model, though it was denied today, I think the implications would be, frankly, pretty disastrous for international relations, and it would be a form of post-colonialism, to be brutally frank about it. However, I would like your viewers to be clear. What is being sold as a deal is a memorandum of understanding. The legal basis of this thing is absolutely unclear. And secondly, I think we have to be clear that under United Kingdom or British immigration law, this deal or memorandum, before it becomes a treaty, which I presume it would have to, is again very debatable. Under our existing law, though the government and Priti Patel today in Rwanda was trying to say that it was entirely consistent with it, well, in London, let me give you two facts.
Professor, are you there? We seem to have lost Professor Rizzuto. We will come back to that story if we are able to get a hold of him. Now, staying in Rwanda, the country has signed 2 memorandums of understanding and a concession agreement in the agricultural field, with the Republic of the Congo. The agreements were part of a series that signed during Rwandan President Paul Kagame's state visit to Brazzaville. Congo will grant Rwanda 12,000 hectares of exploitable land in at least 3 departments in the south of the country. However, the duration of the concession has not been specified. Nigerian emergency services have begun retrieving the bodies of victims who have drowned after their canoe capsized in the Sokoto state. The 26 fatalities include women and children. According to the officials, the boat was carrying an unspecified number of passengers when it overturned on the Shagari River. The cause of the accident is still not clear. Staying in the West African country, Nigerian 4 schoolgirls have been abducted in the state of Zamfara. Authorities say the bandits raided the state in the early hours of Wednesday morning and made away with College of Health Technology learners from their hostel. Police say they have collaborated with other law enforcement for an extensive search and rescue operation to rescue the girls. Ivory Coast Prime Minister Patrick Achi has stepped down. The head of government announced his resignation yesterday at the start of the Council of Ministers, saying it followed President Alassane Ouattara's plan to reduce the size of the cabinet.
Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has said he will name a slimmed-down government next week, following the resignation of his Prime Minister. Patrick Achi tabled his resignation and that of his government on Wednesday. At a cabinet meeting, he said the decision followed Ouattara's intention to reshuffle government. The president said he'd reduce the number of ministers from 41 to 30. A slimmer cabinet, Ouattara said, will be more efficient and in tune with the global economic climate. Achi, who was appointed in March last year, was not immediately available for comment. Ouattara has not specified which ministerial positions will be cut.
We have Professor Rizzuto back on the line. We lost him a little while ago. Professor, my next question is around Rwanda. And was Rwanda Boris Johnson's first port of call?
No. I'm pleased to be back. No, it wasn't, actually. The first attempt was to try and persuade Albania to become our offshore base. And the Albanians, once the news emerged, decided that this wasn't such a desirable thing, especially given that Albania would like to join the European Union at some stage. Then we toyed with the idea of having boats berthed all over the place in the UK and putting these poor people there. Then we came up, or the government came up, not we, came up with another brilliant idea, which was to basically ship them off to Ascension Island, which of course is probably as far away from the United Kingdom as Rwanda. So they've been looking for means by which the failed policy of taking back control of our borders, which was a slogan during Brexit, but obviously you can only control your borders in the modern world, and certainly in Europe. If you
Professor,
you work together.
Allow me to interject, but it doesn't seem like they're trying to ship these migrants to the nicest of places. Do they have an obligation to be good to migrants?